Here's the most important thing I've learned after more than 2 decades living with MS. You don't push recovery, you unlock it. Once it's unlocked, discipline gives way to instinct. Planning gives way to rhythm. And effort gives way to flow. This isn't willpower. This is physiology remembering itself. And today, I want to show you exactly where that happens. Not in motivation, not in supplements, not even while you're exercising. It happens at night. Specifically, during slow wave deep sleep.
If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. Myelin, the insulation that allows your nerves to conduct signals smoothly, and what is attacked in MS, is not rebuilt while you're awake. It's not rebuilt during REM sleep, and it's not rebuilt by trying harder. The majority of myelin repair happens during deep, slow wave sleep. That's when oligodendrocytes and oligodendrocyte precursor cells, OPCs, switch from maintenance mode into construction mode. Genes involved in lipid synthesis turn on. Cellular cleanup accelerates, and the nervous system finally gets quiet enough to rebuild.
This is where most people get it wrong. They think recovery is something you do more during the day. More effort, more reps, more walking, more pushing through fatigue. But that's not how the system works. Daytime effort doesn't build myelin. It asks for it. And whether that request gets answered depends entirely on what happens next.
Think of exercise as a signal, not a solution. When you lift weights, walk, or challenge coordination, you create demand in neural circuits. Axons fire repeatedly. Ions shift. ATP is consumed. The nervous system interprets this as, this pathway needs to function better. But the actual repair, the insulation, the optimization is scheduled for later, during deep sleep.
If exercise alone rebuilt myelin, every exhausted MS patient would eventually be recovering, wouldn't they? But they're not. So the question is not only are you exercising, the other question is, are you sleeping deeply enough for the work to actually spark remyelination?
Deep sleep is not just deeper rest. It's a different biological state. During slow wave sleep, the body finally lets go. Stress hormones drop. The parasympathetic nervous system takes the lead. Growth hormone is released in steady pulses, and the inflammatory noise that dominates the day begins to fade. This is the window where repair is no longer interrupted, and critically for MS recovery, OPCs proliferate and prepare to mature. This is when stalled repair pathways reopen.
I think a lot of people think REM sleep is the star of the show. Dreams, memory, creativity. REM matters. But that's not where myelin is rebuilt. Deep sleep is. And deep sleep doesn't respond to hacks. It responds to demand and rhythm.
If you try to increase deep sleep directly through medication, supplements, or gadgets, it often backfires because deep sleep is not commanded, it's permitted. The brain doesn't fall into deep sleep by accident. It only goes there when it senses that the work of the day is finished, that the environment is safe, and that repair is finally worth the energy. Until then, it stays alert. Once those conditions are met, deep sleep is no longer resisted. Exercise is what creates that permission.
Again, this is why weightlifting changed everything for me. Not because it cured anything, not because it made me stronger overnight, but because it gave my nervous system a clear, repeatable signal. Short bursts, rest, pattern, no chaos, No constant cortisol, just demand.
Structured resistance training is uniquely powerful when it comes to deep sleep. It creates high neural demand, it establishes predictable recovery windows, and it builds strong sleep pressure through adenosine accumulation. And unlike long, chaotic cardio, it doesn't keep the stress system switched on for hours afterward. That's why it pairs so naturally with slow wave sleep. That makes it ideal for supporting slow wave sleep later that night.
This is the part most people miss. Exercise doesn't deepen sleep by tiring your muscles. It deepens sleep by convincing your brain that repair is necessary. If the signal is clean, the response is deep sleep. If the signal is chaotic, the response is fragmentation.
This explains a paradox many people with MS experience. Early on, exercise can make sleep worse, not better. Because inflammation is high, sleep architecture is fragile, and repair cannot keep up with demand. In that state, the loop is broken.
And when the loop is broken, effort feels punished. You try to move, symptoms spike. Sleep gets lighter, fatigue compounds. That's not weakness. That's biology saying we're not ready yet.
Recovery begins when repair starts outpacing stress, when deep sleep becomes reliable enough that the nervous system trusts effort again. This is the threshold moment. And once crossed, the loop reverses.
This is the moment discipline stops being necessary. You don't drag yourself to work out. You want to move. Not because you're motivated, but because movement finally feels rewarding.
That desire is not psychological. It's neurological. Improved conduction reduces effort cost. Noise decreases. Movement feels smoother. The nervous system begins offering energy instead of guarding it.
Let me say this clearly. You don't exercise because you're disciplined. No. You're disciplined because recovery hasn't unlocked yet. But once it does, instinct takes over. And the joy of recovery propels you forward.
This is why consistency eventually replaces willpower. Over time, the loop becomes self-sustaining. Exercise creates the demand. Deep sleep delivers the repair. Repair restores energy. Energy brings back the desire to move, and that desire feeds right back into exercise. At that point, nothing is being forced. There's no grinding, no heroics, just rhythm.
If your sleep is light, fragmented, or inconsistent, this isn't a character flaw. It's a signal. Your system doesn't feel safe enough yet.
Deep sleep is extremely sensitive to interference. Late eating, irregular schedules, emotional stress, unpredictable training. These don't block effort. They block permission.
That's why I'm not sitting here teaching you hacks. I teach conditions. Create demand during the day. Protect quiet at night. Repeat.
When these conditions are consistently met, something powerful starts to unfold. OPCs stop waiting in limbo. Oligodendrocytes mature into their full form, ready to rebuild. Myelin scaffolding strengthens, reinforcing the foundation your nerves rely on. It doesn't happen instantly, but it happens steadily.
I think this is why recovery often feels sudden. Nothing changes overnight. The loop just unlocked.
And once unlocked, the system becomes self-reinforcing. Deep sleep no longer has to be chased. It shows up. Because the body knows exactly why it's there.
If you're below the threshold right now, don't worry. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're still building permission. So let me ask you this. Where do you feel like your body is still asking for permission?
The goal is not more effort. The goal is cleaner signals, predictable training, predictable sleep, predictable recovery windows. This is how physiology remembers itself.
There's one more layer, and it matters more than I think a lot of people realize. Because even when recovery starts working in your favor, even when deep sleep improves, even when movement feels smoother, there still might be a fear. A fear that all of it could disappear.
That fear is understandable. If you've lived with multiple sclerosis long enough, you've learned not to trust good days. Progress has felt temporary. Relief has felt fragile. So when recovery begins to stabilize, the mind stays alert, waiting for the other shoe to drop.
To be honest, I had the same feelings. At first, I didn't trust it either. So I just forced myself to keep going. And if you've ever caught yourself thinking, yeah, but what happens if I stop? That's not negativity. That's memory.
Here's what's different this time. Motivation-based recovery collapses when effort stops. Physiology-based recovery doesn't. Once the loop is unlocked, the system becomes more resilient, not more fragile.
When repair becomes routine, setbacks stop meaning what they used to mean. A bad night doesn't erase progress. A missed workout doesn't undo repair. Because the baseline has shifted in your favor.
Below the threshold, everything feels precarious. Above it, the system has buffer. Deep sleep doesn't disappear because one variable is imperfect. It returns because the rhythm is familiar.
That's freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom from constantly monitoring yourself.
This is why late-stage recovery often feels calm, not euphoric, not dramatic, just quieter. The nervous system is no longer bracing for collapse.
And that quiet changes everything. It changes how you move. It changes how you sleep. It changes how you think about the future.
When the brain trusts repair, it plans forward again. That's not psychology. That's biology reallocating resources.
If you've been afraid to believe in progress, I know that makes sense. Belief asks for trust. Participation doesn't, though. It asks you to stay in the process.
You don't have to be confident. You don't have to be optimistic. You just have to keep the conditions steady long enough for the loop to hold.
This is why I keep coming back to the same old message. Not to be catchy, but because it's reality.
Recovery that depends on willpower is exhausting. Recovery that depends on rhythm is sustainable.
If your body is still asking you for rest, listen to it. If it's starting to ask for movement, well, trust that too. Those signals are not random. They're the loop talking back to you. And one more thing, and this is for all the people who are still here, because this part usually gets skipped everywhere else. If you've ever wondered why your recovery seems slower than someone else, why two people can do the same workout, sleep the same amount, eat the same way, follow the same routine, and one feels better faster, this matters.
Recovery speed is not a measure of effort. It's a measure of system readiness. Two people can apply the same stimulus and get very different outcomes, depending on how much biological noise their nervous system is carrying. That noise can come from long-standing inflammation, accumulated myelin debris, disrupted sleep architecture, or chronic stress signaling. None of these are moral failures. They are physiological states.
I think this is why comparison is so dangerous in MS recovery. You don't see someone else's baseline. You don't see their sleep depth. You don't see how much repair capacity they had available when they started. You only see this outcome.
OPCs don't work on motivation. They work on conditions. If the environment is permissive, they proliferate and mature. If the environment is hostile or noisy, they stall, even when effort is high. That's why patience isn't passive, it's protective.
Waiting for your body to be ready is not giving up. It's how you avoid burning the system down before repair can begin.
This is also why deep sleep becomes such a powerful diagnostic. When slow wave sleep is present and repeatable, it tells us something profound. The nervous system feels safe enough to rebuild. That safety cannot be faked.
And once that safety exists, something subtle happens. Happened to me. You stop negotiating with your body. You no longer ask, "Can I do this today?" You simply are moving and noticing that nothing pushes back.
That lack of pushback is the clearest sign that repair is underway. Not euphoria, not excitement, just the absence of resistance.
This is why I don't promise timelines. Timelines keep people above the threshold mentally, even when their body is trying to come down into repair. Instead, I look at signals. Sleep getting deeper, recovery getting quieter, movement getting less negotiated. Those always come first.
When those signals appear, myelin repair is no longer theoretical. It's procedural. It's happening in the background, night after night, without drama.
So, if this progress feels slower than you want, quieter than you expected, less emotional than you imagined, that doesn't mean it isn't working. It means it's stabilizing.
And stability is what allows repair to compound. Not intensity, not urgency, just conditions held long enough for physiology to remember what it already knows how to do.
That's why this message matters. Because once you understand where this repair can actually happen and what it needs to be done, you stop chasing the wrong signals. You stop fighting your body and you start working with it.
That cooperation is the final unlock. Not effort, not discipline, trust in the loop.
And that brings us back to where we started. You don't push recovery, you unlock it. And once it's unlocked, it doesn't vanish. I promise. Your body doesn't need reminders. It remembers. That's not hope. That's design. I love that you are here. Thanks for watching. Until the next one.